As the game progresses, you will gain access to increasingly powerful troops. Heavily armored knights, crossbowmen and men-at-arms will tend to form the core of your armies. However, you will still find use for lighter troops in a supporting role. Men-at-arms, for instance, are slow and heavy units with significant armor. They can easily defeat any lighter unit on the battlefield. Crossbowmen have a powerful ranged attack that makes quick work of light infantry and does additional damage to heavy units. If you are fielding an infantry force and see many crossbowmen in your enemy's army, retreat to preserve your force. Heavy melee cavalry, such as knights, repel most attacks and can charge at speed, inflicting heavy damage and throwing opponents into disarray. Here, the knights force the crossbowmen to engage unfavorably and quickly cut them down. However, as with regular horsemen, knights should steer away from enemy spearmen. In most battles, you will face armies comprised of many different unit types. Deploy a combined force of your own, choosing units that counter those of the enemy and look for opportunities to draw them in. Remember what you've learned here and add it to your arsenal of battle tactics. Your soldiers have spotted an army marching towards your village. The first group of attackers that will reach you is comprised of men-at-arms, but 5 more waves of enemies will soon follow. A force of enemy men-at-arms is approaching. Choose a group of units to counter them. Select one of the production buildings in the center of the village to deploy a group of units. Here comes the enemy. Ready your units.
Eine Ehre zu gehorchen.
Edle Ritter, lasset uns rieten, Ritter. Ritter, tuet nahe bei seid.
The enemy has burned down multiple buildings. Stop them before your village is completely destroyed. Now a group of enemy crossbowmen is coming from the south. Choose the right unit type to counter them before they reach the village.
Mach het snel, Bogenere.
Here comes the enemy. Ready your units.
Und zieh het ab, Bogenere. Geheiße kommen, Bogenere. Stand straff und zieh het ab. Gehorche Befehle nun. Zieh het ab, mit Ile, Bogenere. Geheiße als Falschbogenere. Achtet auf die Gehälse. Gehälse kommen, Bogenere. Willen auf die Dioche. Bereitet u, Bogenere.
Excellent. Your village is safe from the crossbowmen. A new wave of enemy knights is heading for your village. Produce a group of defenders to hold off the enemy.
Gib mir ein Angriffsziel. Bogen in Hand. Achtet auf. Kann ich.
Here comes the enemy.
Schnell, Bogenere.
Ready your units.
Zieh het ab, mit Ile, Bogenere. Stand straff, zieh het ab. Alsbald, ja. Hoch und zieh het ab, Bogenere. Welle zieh es, Bogenere. Zieh geschossen, mit Ile, Bogenere. Hälse alsbald, Bogenere. Achtet auf die Gehälse.
You have lost too many units to earn the gold medal, but you can still earn the silver.
Bereitet u, Bogenere. Bereitet u, Bogenere.
The enemy has burned down multiple buildings. Stop them before your village is completely destroyed. The enemy is now attacking with two different types of units. Spearmen and crossbowmen are now approaching from the south. You can also field two different groups of units to defend your village. See this sparse forest near the road? You can use it to hide your units and ambush your enemies as they pass. Here comes the enemy. Ready your units.
Ich hörte das. Achtung, wir marschieren. Tui. Bereitet euch! Armbrust!
The silver medal is no longer available, but the bronze still is.
Armbrustschütze, ich hörte das! Verdienen mit Solden! Zählen niedere Armbrustschütze! Armbrustschütze, bereitet Waffen! Zählen niedere Armbrustschütze! Aufgas! Die Keime aussetzen!
You can no longer earn a medal. Try again and use the lessons that you've learned.
Armbrust bereit und achten!
By using a combination of unit types, you have outmaneuvered the enemy. The enemy is sending men-at-arms and horsemen to attack your buildings. Select two different groups of units to defend against the attackers. The impassable cliffs next to the road allow your ranged units to fire down on enemies without opening themselves up to immediate counterattack. The natural choke point leading up to the cliffs is a good spot to position your infantry and protect your ranged units. Here comes the enemy. Ready your units.
Gebisse für alle hier.
Good work. The enemy raiders could not overcome your superior armor. A final group of archers and knights are prepared to attack. Choose 2 types of units to defeat the enemy's final attack.
Opwachen, nieuwe gehees. Geheesen werden gehorcht. Ihr Männer, wisst führen den Gehees aus.
Here comes the enemy. Ready your units. Victory! You have defeated the enemy and secured your village.
At the Battle of Hastings, the death of one man changed the course of history. The Anglo-Saxon King Harold was killed here, on England's south coast. His army defeated by William of Normandy. Anglo-Saxon rule was over forever. At Westminster Abbey on Christmas Day 1066, William was crowned the first Norman King of England. Now he had to secure power across the country. He began by stamping his mark on the landscape, building cathedrals and castles at strategic locations. like them had been seen in England before. They reminded the Anglo-Saxon population exactly who was in charge. But not all were content with living under Norman rule. Anglo-Saxon revolts broke out across the country. King William acted quickly to crush these rebellions. But there was one region where dissent was spiraling out of control: the north of England. In 1069, a group of lords from Northumbria formed an alliance with Viking invaders. Together they approached Norman-held York, a large city with an important cathedral, still protected by ancient Roman walls. But the walls couldn't save York. The city and the castle fell to the rebels. William's new kingdom was under threat. He had to get the city back under Norman control. William had no choice but to order his men north. But as the Norman forces set off on their long march towards York, how much resistance from the rebels would they encounter?